The people of the South Bronx are mostly transient. Few have jobs, most exist on welfare payments from a city hall which often seems more interested in keeping the people quiet than providing work. The poverty isn't material. No one starves, they dress well, own television sets, refrigerators, often even cars. It's spiritual, the poverty of hope breeding apathy and violence. Beneath the apparently placid surface, the South Bronx is an urban jungle.
Well, there's no way out for the people in the South Bronx. I mean, I see that. They're transient people. They go from one block to another block to another block until they have a fire, until they're burglarized, until they can't meet the rent. And, but it stays in that one, about a 2-mile diameter. And there's no way out for them. And that's the tragedy of it. You have to be concerned. And all of this stuff, of course, is manifested for us in terms of fire, in terms of false alarms, in terms of fires in abandoned buildings, in terms of real fires and what I call real fires, serious fires in occupied buildings where people die very easily and very quickly. For the firemen in Engine 82 and Ladder 31, I mean, there's no chance of reducing the kind of work that we're doing or reducing the response that we're making to false alarms and to fires unless we do something about the conditions of the Bronx. So, I'm looking at it from one hand as a human being, on the other hand as a fireman. And I think we have an obligation with both hands to try to do something about it.
Eddie Montague is one of the few firemen to live in the Bronx to understand perhaps just how difficult escape is, even for the children.
Show them how you play basketball. Show them how you play basketball. Show them how you play basketball. Come on. See that? See him dribble. Let's see you make a hook shot. Let's see you shoot the basketball. Come on. Shoot the basketball. See that? I know. He's something too, huh? He is something.
Mostly the firemen of Battalion 27 are resented. Even though he's black, lives here and risks his life for their lives and property, Eddie Montague finds he too is resented.
Well, it's in this particular area, it seems to be a resentment towards the uniform. The uniform seems to represent the establishment to some people, but then again, you can't say to all people, but it is here and it is prevalent where the uniform does turn a lot of people off.
Do you find, in fact, that being black in a largely black and Puerto Rican neighborhood is a positive advantage ever?
Well, in certain situations, it's an advantage. In certain situations, it's a disadvantage, because as we were just saying, you represent part of some people feel that you represent part of the establishment, and consequently some people feel that you're not on their side because you're wearing a uniform, when actually we're civil service and we're out to do a service for the public, which is all the people of the city of New York.
2896 Westchester and Manor Avenue. First Armed Units acknowledge and respond.
3110-4.
Get out, 82, truck on the sheet. Get out. Everybody go. Get out.
The firemen always hope that every call will be what they call the big one. A fire where there'll be leaping flames, screaming people to be rescued, chances to demonstrate their expertise. The men may hope for the big fire, but usually it's trivial, a food on the stove fire or a small fire started deliberately.
Did somebody start the fire, do you know?
We did.
Yeah? Is he in your family?
Yeah, it's my child.
Okay.
Oh, did you? You better tell me the truth. Did you start that fire down? You did. What? Why you doing?
The place was like that, so these other rooms.
Yeah, that's when we in that up.
All right, so that's it. Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all have to go through the trunk. Where's the dog?
He ran out of the house.
The door was open when we got up there.
11:30, and for Ladder 31, the 14th response since the shift began at 6. And this time, it is a major fire, in a market complex only a few hundred yards from the firehouse. This was a serious enough fire for units from all over the Bronx to be called in. There were 39 appliances at this fire, including specialist units, a communication control vehicle and a fire department ambulance. Nearly a third of the 150 firemen needed treatment. Many were on sick leave for several days, although there were no serious injuries. Casualties in the fire department are high. Last year, 3 times as many firemen as policemen were killed on duty in New York.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
The annual presentation of awards and medals for gallantry to the men of the New York Fire Department. For the men of Battalion 27 from the Big House, as they call their station, a very special day because they've won 2 medals, presented by the Mayor of New York, John Lindsay.
It is because we as a people value human life that firefighters go willingly into burning buildings, defying every powerful basic instinct for personal safety and survival. Not everyone in our society can share the burden, the commitment, the brotherhood, and the satisfactions of firefighting, or have the special grief and honor which comes to the family of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. But everyone can take pride and hope in the examples of courage, compassion, and commitment which we honor and celebrate today.
The Nair-Tormut Society Franklin Delano Roosevelt Medal, donated by the Nair-Tormut Society, is awarded to Fireman Charles P. McCarthy.
Well done. Thanks. Proud of you. Thank you. Nicely done. Congratulations. Congratulations, fellas. Congratulations, boys. Come on in here. Give your buddies a big wave up there.
Charlie McCarthy of Ladder 31 won his medal for saving life.
Got your team here. Yeah. You got the whole gang, haven't you? Yes. The entire house. Way up.
Dan Gainey, too, was awarded the Medal for Saving Life. Perhaps the drama and risk so dryly described in the official citation can only be fully appreciated by other firemen.
Dan, what exactly did you do to win this medal?
Well, it was out on building inspection one day, and I spotted smoke and flame pouring out of a window in a tenement. And I ran up there and I pulled the box, and
that's the fire alarm box.
The fire alarm box, yeah. And a few of the neighbors said there were kids trapped above the fire floor. So I went up, I passed the fire, and I saw there was smoke and flame overblowing out into the public hall. So I reached in and I slammed the door closed, right? And I went upstairs and I tripped across a woman and child unconscious on the floor above. I dragged them downstairs, put them below the fire, right? And then they were screaming. There was a woman trapped in the apartment directly above the fire. So I went up there and I could hear her screaming. And I forced the door open and I went in and dragged her out and dragged her downstairs, and she was extremely heavy too. So that's it. That's the entire rescue.
You make it all sound very cool. Very much part of the day's work.
That's it. And then the fire companies came and they put the fire out, and that was it.
Did you have any safety gear with you?
None. None whatsoever.
It must have been quite a decision to make, though, to go into a burning building on your own.
No, you don't think about it. It's done strictly on impulse. You know, you see a fire, you just go. And there's no thought about yourself and nothing. You know, they were screaming that there's people trapped upstairs and everything. And you just go. That's it.
Well, you may just go. I don't think most people would.
Well, that's what you get paid for, right?
Okay, now. Okay, Danny boys! Trials and tribulations for our #1 medal winners of the year. Dan Gainey with his $100 war bond and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Mayor LaGuardia medal. Here he is, stand up. The silver bullet. His wooden head. Mr. McCarthy, Charlie McCarthy with him. Up on the chair. He didn't get any money. He didn't get any money. Charlie McCarthy, the silver bullet. Charlie, there's the Charlie.
To all of you, without me.
Okay, one hymn for Charlie McCarthy.
Afterwards, in a bar in the Bronx, the real celebration, a cross between Saturday night at a rugby club and a Gaelic ceilidh.